what are the advantages? I mean, I know that you're currently a college student. Africa is called the motherland. It's not just called the motherland just because it's the motherland. It's because that's really
the African diaspora has been spread a long time around the world. But we are focusing on the new generation of Africans that came to America.
Once you move from one environment to another, it's natural that you do change. Like when you're young, when you're starting to learn a language, it's easy for you to pick up.
Hello viewers, welcome back to TamTam, the Sound of Africa. My name is Rigia Tutore and I'll be your host for the social-political segment of TamTam TV show. And today we'll be discussing a very intriguing topic. It's the role of women in the eyes of Africa. And I have three guests with me today who are very interesting. We're all from Africa and it's three ladies and one man. So you'll hear from each one of us. They'll start by introducing themselves, and we have the man who brings a totally different perspective on the table. And so he's going to be talking to us about his experience or what he thinks about women as a man from Africa. So yes, let's start by introducing ourselves.
Hello everyone, my name is Yumi Obioye. I am from Nigeria as well as here in the States. I've lived in both countries, and so I guess my perspective is going to be from there.
Hi, my name is Mamzobari and I'm from Guinea. I've lived there for a while before I moved here, so like she said, my opinion would be quite mixed, you know.
Hello, my name is Ibrahim Abalde, and as for today we're discussing about women. Unfortunately, I'm the only guy here, and I grew up basically here. So I'll be backing up this conversation
the man today, huh?
with my own experience, representing myself and the rest of the guys. Hopefully they don't beat me to death here.
You would do a very good job at backing them up and at representing them. So thank you guys for being on stage here with us. It's a pleasure to have you today. Just start the process of development. We've seen a lot of African women who have actually left the continent and traveled overseas, just like men have been doing. Right? And so that also gives them a different role. It's another thing that we should look into. So the question is going to be, what are the misconceptions, right? How does the role of an African woman change as they leave the continent and reside in other places, like the US, for example? And since we have a man on the panel, I'm going to direct that question to him. What do you think about that? How do you think the role of women changes? What have you seen changing as they've left Africa and traveled to different places?
Well, that question is kind of tricky to me, because the reason why I say so, some women comes with the African culture and stick with it. And they know one thing is you have to be obedient to your husband no matter what, whether they're right or wrong. And some women come to America and the concept, everything changed. They look at it as, okay, now I'm in power. I tell you what to do, I'll do whatever I want to do, and just start destroying their own family without knowing. But I'll talk about my own experience, what I've seen happening around my area, around my environment surrounding. That's what I could talk about, really, what I'm familiar with the most. A lot of women that comes end up listening to their husband because they're already kind of respect and fear of obedience. They stick to their husband whether their husband is right or wrong. And only few end up revolting, changing, and following when they start working, making their own money, trying to build their home back home without even their husband knowing. But since I'm not the only one here, let's hear if the rest of the guests agree with me or not.
I have to object to that. And the reason is because, first of all, the changes that are happening, this is life, you know. We're not going to live the same way our great-grandparents or grandparents or mothers lived. Back in the days, women were never even, they were just restricted to home life. And even back home, this has changed. Now there's more women in school, more women pursuing careers and stuff. And as far and that's great. You know, I applaud our society for that. We have to give women the opportunity to show what they're capable of. As far as coming to America and talking about changes, yeah, there's a few number of women that, you know, revolt or like ignore their culture. But that does not go only for women. That's just us Africans. We sometimes come here, we get excited, and we forget everything about what we were brought up to be like. As far as when people talk about women change or African women change when they come here, I feel like one of the reasons we do move, once you move from one environment to another, it's natural that you do change. It's part of, we're not back home. We're not gonna act like we're still gonna keep some of our values and morals and culture. We will try our best. We do keep it within us, but at the same time, we did come here in pursuit of something. A lot of us are going to school. A lot of us are getting jobs out here too. And sometimes I feel like it's when men address us, sort of we say, "Oh, women, they change." It's almost like I feel like they're almost afraid. It's just change can be scary for some people. It's an adjustment, and you know, we just want to get the opportunity to do what we know, what we could do. We're just trying to show what we could do. And
yeah, so I have a question, because I have my own experiences as a person who's, you know, lived in both, you know, on the continent, here, who've experienced both, who sees both. What are the major, and you know, there's misconceptions, period. There's misconceptions about the US on the continent, and then there's misconceptions about the continent, you know, here from the US. What do you think is the biggest misconception about women here and vice versa?
I think I wouldn't say the biggest, but one of the ones up there as far as women in Africa is that we're not educated. We're kept home, just cooking and cleaning. We're all housewives. We're unhappy. We're always married to we're always into arranged marriages, and it's not always like that. There's a lot of happiness. There's a lot of people I would not say that these things do not happen, but they don't. That's not what we are not defined like that. I wouldn't define us like that.
Alright, so that was a very good question, by the way, just to follow up. When it comes to women who live here and the misconceptions about them in the continent, I think it's totally different. Because when we're there, first of all, what we want is to get here, right, to the dreamland. But when we're there, and because of so many things that we see on TV, on the media, we feel like, okay, those who have left us here have gone there to become so rich, have gone there to become so educated. Oh my God, she's looking so beautiful now. She's light skinned now. All of those things. Look at her now. It's true, because when we go back, we make sure we go back in our best. We make sure that when we go back, we're as beautiful as you can imagine. We're like 40 or something.
Do you think that puts too much pressure? Because the reality is that, you know, it's not all, oh, they say the land of milk and honey and like the streets that should be paved with gold.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I've been here a very long time. I have yet to see any sidewalk that has gold on it, you know? And so, you know, is the reality as to the life that we live here, does it put too much pressure? Because I know a lot of people, especially when you're a student, you're just trying to take care of yourself, you know? And then, you know, you get calls from back home as to, oh, you know, can you help me and all of this. And so, you know, when can we like really address the situation, just give them the realness of it? Like, look, okay, oh, we may have a job, but we have to pay so much in taxes, and we have to like, our living expenses is such that we can't give you all this money that you want. You know?
Yeah, that's a very good question, actually. I think, like I said earlier, it all comes back to the image that we see on television, right? That's what gives us the impression that the roads are paved with gold, right?
But do we actually perpetuate it ourselves? Like, oh, we come here and we you know, we don't. You know, we continue to actually perpetuate that.
It's because that's what we put out there, right? Because when they call us, we want to make sure that we we make sure that they're okay. We want to make sure that if they call and say I'm sick, that the money is at Western Union the next hour. We want to make sure that they're satisfied, to the point where they begin to feel like this person has the money, this person has the money. How come when I call my sister in America to tell her that, I'm sick or I have a wedding or I have a party, she sends me the money right away. My sister is there with so many bills, to take care of, but yet she's still worried about my well-being back home. And so she's sacrificing so many things here just to make sure that I'm well. But over there, that is being misunderstood for the fact that it's because she has the money. Right? And again, we have to look at the currency. It's very different. You can take $100 here and send it there, and it's going to translate into so much money, right? So they begin to think that, oh, this person has money, not knowing that the little amount that we take here in dollar could, be so useful for us here, actually. But then we're making that sacrifice for as long as they live here and for as long as we're willing to send them the money. It's going to be hard to change that.
I was gonna add to the media effect, and it's quite obvious the media has a lot to do with even the misconceptions. As a matter of fact, I will tell you a story. When I was in high school, there was a time when we were supposed to have a culture day and everything, and I brought them, and we were supposed to have bring something from your culture, whether it's music, a movie, dress like you want, something. So I decided I was going to bring a tape, which was music. And when I brought it to class, my teacher decided that he has a better movie than the one I have to show to the class. And when he put it in, it was like the most graphic thing I've ever seen in my life. And when I think about it now, I get upset and sad and emotional. But because once he put it on, there were people acting like animals. There was so much savagery going on, and that was supposedly the representation of me, of my culture. I wasn't even allowed to represent myself. And when I brought out the mic, I was like, okay, there you go. He was like, no, well, I have something better. And I remember being in that class, I was even more terrified than the rest of the students, because I've never seen anything like that in Africa. You guys haven't seen that, right?
No.
And then it's the same thing also. When we back home, the movies that we are shown on TV now, channels is shot in Times Square, and it's all lights and glamour, and it's just beautiful. The misconception. I mean, eventually, more and more people are finding out the truth. Back home, it has a lot to do with our culture. We are very family oriented. It's not in comparison to the U.S. Here, a lot of times people consider the family just the immediate people. Your mom, your dad, your siblings, that's your family. Back home, your whole village is your family. There's the whole village is your relatives. So you are expected to take care of them. We never hear back home someone sending their parents to nursing home or something like that when they get old. We put them close, and we live for that, to take care of our families. It's all we work for. So that I don't even know if I want that to change, because that's just part of us. It's part of our identity. But I just wish that I wish that the real reality is shown better. I wish that people back home wouldn't even misconcept the fact that we help them. I feel like they translate it into us being rich.
Yes, and so then I guess we should move on into talking about the challenges that women face back home and here. And you seem like you're ready to go for it.
Okay. I mean, the challenges, I could say, from what I could see, I think in a sense all cultures evolve, that it's not just static. I think in a sense, people may look at, the influences now because of, the media, TV, movies, and, social media and all of that, so this they are. But from what I could see in my own experience, I think that a lot of the roles of women, definitely between the, back home and here, is, women are expected to be much more domestic, that, is some is some like, you know, classes like, yes, you could go, you could get your education, you could go, you could have a job, but you still have to know how to take care of your home. Like that's big.
Yeah.
Like period. It's like, you still have to know, you still have to make your husband happy. And so that's, very close to, the role of women.
So would you say that's one of the challenges that we're facing as we're coming here? Not only do we have to, integrate into the society, but we also have to keep in mind the fact that we have a husband to take care of. Do you think that's one of the challenges that women face here?
Oh my goodness, yes. Definitely. I think that it's the options that women have like gotten bigger, but as an African woman who's connected to your culture somehow, it's not as if the other things have gone off the table. It's just there's just more. And so you could be tired. I mean, seriously, I don't know if you've ever had it, but oh my God, you go to work. And it's not like you don't have like this like 9 to 3. No, you work the same hours that everybody else works, And then you come home and it's like you want to rest, but no, you gotta cook, right? with people, our guests here who have big greedy stomachs, and they expect you to hold on to the culture, so they want to eat, and they want to come home and relax.
They don't want to eat food from outside.
Exactly.
It has to be cooked. They want breakfast to be cooked. They want
it to be fresh.
And they want lunch and dinner to be cooked. And
They don't like leftovers.
What were you talking about?
They starting to jump on me again. It's okay. That's what I was saying at the beginning. It's all part of the culture. As for the grown women that comes here, they're already married. They already have nothing to do in school or anything. Their job is to be a good wife and a good mother. Stay home.